For more on how the markets have reacted and plenty more, let's go live to Michelle Schneider from Market Gauge. Good to see you. How's your week been, Michelle?
Choppy.
Choppy, like the markets.
Exactly.
Tell us a bit about what you're seeing, and the NASDAQ in particular to begin. It's what a lot of people are talking about. It's going through a little bit of a rough time at the moment as well.
Well, last week we blamed the yields, if you recall, that the short-term yields were going up and that was creating issues for big tech. Well, they've eased a lot. In fact, the TLTs and all of the bonds have actually gone up in terms of the instrument, whereas the yields have relaxed, and NASDAQ's still not happy. So what is bothering it now? And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that the speak between Powell and Yellen was a little bit unclear in that they didn't really express what specific tools they would use other than the bond buying program. And they talked about inflation as transitory. They talked about the recovery as transitory, which also was confusing because that means, are we going to have a full recovery or not? And then Yellen said she expects full employment in a year. Well, the fact that we lost 20 million jobs, we only have 9.5 of those filled.
Sort of comment from whether they were going to try and control that, whether they were worried about that exactly.
Well, they don't seem to be worried about it that much. In fact, as again, they use that word transitory. When I say they, really basically Powell used the word transitory, in that they think there could be a spike as economies come back, but then it would fall back to more normal levels. They're letting it run hot. But they also remember they don't look at food and energy as part of their metrics for inflation. And even though there has been other issues in terms of supply chain disruption, we're still seeing all kinds of other issues popping up. Now we're starting to see something very interesting happening this week, which is gold is waking up a little bit. Mm. And when I say it's waking up, relative to the fact that the market sold off and yet gold actually closed in the green, tells me now that people are thinking it's something that they haven't looked at in a long time. Which is, gee, where do you go? Where do you go now? If there's going to be stagflation, and I think that's really kind of what I've been thinking about, gold's really one of the safest things to be in. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And then the Fed is really helpless because it's very hard to control stagflation.
Let's have a look at the latest from Elon Musk and Tesla. It sounds as though they'll accept Bitcoin in the US. When I saw that headline, I thought, well, there's nothing more ticker news than that story. We cover everything Musk says and everything Tesla does. So how has Bitcoin responded in terms of price? And tell us more about this story.
Well, the interesting thing is that the story came out at the same time that Ray Dalio said that he thinks that Bitcoin will never see the light of day, basically, that it'll be shut down before it even gets going. Okay. So the two of them it would be a very interesting conversation between the two of them. Yeah. But essentially, right, Musk doing another very bold thing, talking about the fact that you can buy Tesla with a Bitcoin within the United States and it'll be allowed to be bought outside of the United States by the end of the year, at the same day when the Tesla price has fallen and the Bitcoin price has fallen. So either it'll play out where it turns around and he'll look like a hero, or once again, people will start getting short, thinking that Musk has lost his mind. And of course, we know that you never bet against the king for too long.
Yeah. Just on that, I would think the Bitcoin price would rise almost significantly after a story like that, but it hasn't necessarily. Is there any particular reason why that wouldn't have happened?
Well, for one is Yellen also and Powell both came out against cryptocurrency, of course, along with Ray Dalio, not that I think that had the biggest influence. I think that a lot of the news that has been in the market in terms of these companies that have been going into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as part of their business equation, like PayPal, for example, is already in the market. And I also believe that now that yields have softened, there have been more attractive places to go other than Bitcoin. Bitcoin seemed like the attractive